Hey there. I didn't do the opening crawl today. I'm a little spastic, I guess. I need to get this in the chat. Can't do a call-in show unless people can get in, right? Uh, Copy to clipboard. Go over here. Oh, the mic's not working. Damn it. Hold on. Mic, audio. Where is not my mic? Mic's working. Weird. Why can I not hear it? Trying to get this settled here. Audio. Yeah, I can hear it there. Why can I not hear it here? It's live there. It's turned up there. StreamYard is not muted. Well, the mic's working, according to this. Testing. Yep, it's working. Why am I not hearing it? Okay, it's pinned over there if I can ever figure this out. Let's try this. Reset. Can I hear it now? Nope, still can't hear it. Microphone. Yep. Communications. There. Oh, something. There we go. Okay, so at least I got that. All right, let me go on Twitter here. Okay, all right. Let me go ahead and let me see. Looks like my notification might have disappeared here. Hold on. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and retweet that. See if we can get people in here. All right. Anyway. Okay. All right. Still got audio. All right. Good deal. All right. Okay. All the technical difficulties. Possible cratering of my internet any moment now. But I just wanted to go live today and move the light back to immediately in front of me. This is why I've got the shadow. Got the shadow behind me again. Anyway, so I stepped in it on Twitter this morning. I was watching the stream last night. Well, not watching, I was listening to it. And It was Gabe Taib, I think. Al Taib. I think that's how I pronounced it. Talking to Mr. Graham Nolan, who I really appreciate, really like. One of my favorite professionals, which is saying something because I just adore all those guys. Well, Mr. Nolan made a tweet a few months back that kind of gave me a little bit of heart. I mean, I really liked the tweet. It said, "Be a writer who draws rather than an artist who writes." In other words, focus on your writing, get your writing nailed down, and then do the drawing. At least that's how I took it. And I saw later comments where that was when he clarified because he was flogged and he had people all over him. Oh, you denigrating art? You denigrating art? You know, this is freaking Graham Nolan, guys. He's not denigrating art. That's how he makes his living. You know, but I saw the comments that were made, and it was just the gamut of people just coming after him. You know, we're an art we're an art centric group. You know, the artists are free to do whatever they want to do. You know, they can write their own thing and do their own thing, create their own IP. And I saw on the show last night Gabriel at LTEB. I think that's how you pronounce it. Sorry if I'm butchering it. Uh, who has been everywhere lately. He's popped up when he declared Comicsgate, kind of said "F you" to DC in a very dramatic way. And he turned out he was working on Comicsgate projects already. He was already in the community. We just didn't know it because he was trying to, provide for his family. And he came in a big way, 3,000 subs. I mean, right through the gate. Launched his channel and boom, 3,000. Some of us are. I just celebrated 100 the other day. But hey, more power to him. I hope he succeeds. I really do. I don't think that someone else's success diminishes my potential for success. I'm not a communist. But so he was on there. He was actually on Newsmax the other night, and he actually gave a shout out to Comicsgate. Said something about the new website that Michael Bancroft put up called CG Now, where you can get back issues of CG comic books. It's not by any way, shape, or form a full counting. There's a lot of bigger creators that don't currently have any property over there. Um, I'm wondering if none of them have backlog. I don't know. They really need to consider putting it there. But anyway, so about 28 minutes in, and I like this guy. I like him. I like him. He's talking about being at Disney World and then how much that inspired him. It was Disney. He accomplished all these things. Anything's possible. Made me feel anything was possible. And I agreed with him on that. I agreed with him most of the things he said. And then he just goes on this rant that we don't need you, writers. We don't need writers. All I ever cared about was the images in the comics anyway. That's the only thing that's important. And he mentioned Wolverine getting his adamantium pulled out of him. Being an image that he remembers. He doesn't remember the writing, but he remembers that image. And And why did you remember that image? You remember that image because you felt something. Why did you feel something? Because you knew who Wolverine was. How did you know who Wolverine was? Because Chris Claremont drew or wrote Wolverine as a into a character that everybody cared about. So, writing. And then later on, he's even talking about, well, comics can matter. They can mean something to people. And talked about a jail Justice League of America book he was on. Hey, Rook, what's up, dude? You want to come on in? You can, link is in the chat, man. But he was talking about the JLA comic that he was part of, that where they took like a little kids with terminal cancer to the moon and kind of gave them a Make-A-Wish day. And how much people came up to him, and it seemed people with tears in their eyes saying they bought that comic and took it to like children's wards and things like that. And he was like, so comics can be special. We can make this special. Just ignoring the fact that what was special about that comic wasn't the renderings of little bald-headed children that were terminal, was the comics content, i.e., the writing. I see this so much, especially in our little group. I see it a lot. You can hear me right, Steven. I had a little issues earlier. Tell me if you can. I appreciate it. But I see this in our little group. Bancroft had a guy on Leroy's his name. I can't even watch a stream Leroy's on because he spouts this all the time, and he's not even a creator. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It took a minute. I had a problem. But he's not even a creator, and he's like spouting this all the time. He's one of the Roqueforts. Uh, you know how this is a visual media. We have artists that are free to create whatever they want to create. Nobody is holding them back. No, we don't need writers here. We don't need writers here. And I saw a lot of people that were just like, they were mentioning this over and over again. And my, the response to my chats. One, a couple guys who were probably just trolling. I choose to believe they were trolling, because if people really believed this, then I lost faith in humanity. But they started going in on the fact that artists make more money, i.e., that artists must be more important because they make more money. And the point came to me, actors make more money, but if you don't like the actor, right, then the actor doesn't look good on film. And if the actor doesn't look good on film, then your film is kaput. Okay, my internet started to go out again. Yeah. I don't know how much longer I'll have here. Anyway, so if the artist doesn't look good on film, or the actor doesn't look good on film, then your movie is kaput. So the guy who lighted the actor doesn't make as much as the actor, but why in the world would you say that they don't have any value? Because they do have value. Writing is not as glamorous as being an artist. It's just not. There's no way around it. It's not. Writers often sit in their rooms by themselves and come up with these worlds. It's a solitary pursuit and it takes a lot of concentration. You can't really, a lot of writers have to lock the door away from the world just to come up with all this stuff because writing's a different stream from drawing. Drawing, you can have people in the room messing around and you could still be able to draw. I know I've done it because I try to teach myself to draw for a while during the lockdown, and it's a different way. It's a different way of thinking. It's a lot harder for me to write than it is for me to draw. It's not, you know, when other people are around. Um, but anyway, if the writer does his job right, then the artist is going to be featured. And if the writer does his job right and gets himself out of the writing and just basically brings you into the world in which they're creating, then it's a subtle art. It's not really spectacular. Okay. And and a lot of people are going to miss the significance of that because and my internet's trying to go out again. uh anyway, okay. If I'm freezing up, guys, my internet's trying to go out again. But the thing about it is, if you can still hear me, if I haven't frozen up, the thing about it is that when I see these streams where somebody's spouting off like that, and someone like that I respect, like Graham Nolan's just sitting there and just not even giving pushback. Someone who did that tweet a few weeks ago that meant the world to me. Be an artist who write, or be a writer who draws rather than an artist who writes. That was the tweet. It meant a lot to me. Writing's just as important. There's never been a great comic. Let me put this up here. All right. Writing's just as important. There's never been a great comic with great art that has had subpar writing. Right. Correct. Anyway, I was thinking about the comic that the first time I ever read a comic and the writing was what drew me in, what seized my imagination. It was Marvels by Alex Ross. Now, if you've never seen Marvels or understand the premise of Marvels, Marvels is about a photographer in the Marvel Universe. The guy is in the Marvel Universe. He literally lives there. And he has been like involved with Marvel like heroes, been involved with Marvel heroes from the beginning. Okay. And so he takes like this is basically his photo journal. But when you see what's up, TB? Hey man, what's up, Jason? What's up, dude? Captain Telepathic Jason Black. You moron, I swear. That's intellectual property, man. I will sue you. Anyway, uh, everybody needs a troll. But anyway, in this Marvel's comic book, The cover that I had, it was like an alternative cover. I think I got the graphic novel. I didn't get the like individual covers. But the cover I was looking at was this the photographer through the photographer's lens, the giant man is like stepping over him and he's looking up and oh hey, there's this this giant man stepping over me. And oh, there's this junk, Anyway, but neither here nor there. But but it was just like that image just really captured my mind, you know. And when I got into the comic, it's a battle of minds and wills. Who will be the victor? Well, bring it, bring it. Anyway, um, but this book was revolutionary to me because this guy was like in the Marvel universe, and oh, there's Captain America jumping by with a shield, Uh, and there's a Human Torch, had the origin of the Human Torch. Had this great moment where after the Human Torch had escaped his chamber, and after they were terrified and they shut him away, his creator stuck him in a chamber and buried him, but left him enough air and oxygen to flame up. But it was really compelling a way to open it. But they were like bad mouthing the torch. These guys were just like kind of talking to each other at a lunch counter, bad mouthing the torch. And then the torch, like, it turns out the torch is sitting right next to them, he like gets ticked off. He's like, "Oh, that's what you think, huh?" He walks away and he like flames on and takes off, and they're like, I didn't mean to upset him, you know. But that kind of writing, it got me, because that was the first time I'd seen humans and superheroes like intertwined in like a casual setting, because comic books by their very nature, the humans were involved or either like part of the story, or they were like damsels in distress or something like that. But either way, but the humans are pretty much props to move around the superhero universe for the most part. But this book had him differently. He had it differently, and it changed everything for me. It changed the way I viewed superheroes. Recently I acquired, there's like a series of Marvels based on Marvels, people in that universe, and I don't think it sold well, but I managed to get a whole copy of all of them, and like there's this one where there's a fangirl group uh, who after Wonder Man dies, who are like melting down, and having this, one of them's even suicidal after because he when he died, like the ion was in the atmosphere and it made everything red, and so they were freaking out because that was him, and and it was a throwaway thing in Force Works. I had the comic that he died in Force Works, and it was just like, oh, the sky was red for days, but this had these little fangirls are like, that's him, freaking out about it. And it was good writing. It was good writing. But I read these comments in this Twitter thread, and evidently I lost everybody. But I read these comics in this Twitter thread. Things like anybody that can put two sentences together can write. And just dismissive of the whole thing. And oh, well, right, we're artists or making more money. They have a higher page rate. It's a more nuanced art. So, i.e., they are more valuable than artists are, or writers are. And I also have people who said, I get my comics based on the visual only. If there's a decent story in it, that's a bonus. But I get it because of the visuals. And I guess there's people out there that do that. I don't know. It's never been my thing. I'll read through a comic almost all the way in the comic book store to make sure the story is there before I get it. But I'm a story guy. There's Comicsgate comic books that everybody just drools over and lauds to the high heavens. That I read one time and I put down and I haven't picked it back up. This whole series I bought. It's the review. I've got the review. Graveyard Shift, semi reviews. And then this comic called Long Harbor. That's one of the best written comics that I've looked at in a while. Also a horror comic, also horrific images, but that one stuck with me. Gave me that. I mean, it's literally nightmare on page. It's beautiful. And we got people like the Lucent, Michael Bancroft. That book is a puzzle box. And he doesn't really explain anything. It just is what it is. And I dig it. I dig it, man. I dig it. That's what we can do. That's what we can do that the mainstream cannot do. Okay, here we go. It shouldn't be a choice. If you have good story, why would you give it bad art? If you have good art, why put it into a bad story? That is the question, right? Shouldn't be. Shouldn't be a debate. It shouldn't be a debate. Why are you minimizing either one of them? I'm not minimizing art. Like I said, the Marvels, the art was incredible. It got me in. Alex Ross's art was incredible. It drew me in. Either way, someone should be fired. Well, I don't understand this comment. Either way, so someone should be fired. I don't know. Anyway, so in that thread I was made this morning, I was talking about that stream I watched and how disillusioning it was for me. Here I'm at work, this dead end job. Oh, here we go. I love the Lucent. Oh, I don't really understand it. Exactly. I love the Lucent. I don't understand it. I kind of figured it out. And I've kind of like put it to Michael Bancroft a few times and kind of like hinted that I figured it out when he's like, no, you're off. You're way off. You're way off. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I know I'm not. But that's writing. That's writing, man. That's good writing. And I've heard people like denigrate Bancroft's art in that book, but that art fits the writing so perfectly. It's one image. It's a total vision. We can do that. We can do that here. They can't do that in the mainstream. We can do it here. We can have better writing. We can write good, compelling characters. Okay. Nope. Well, I wasn't going to say anything, but what are people struggling with about it, Lucent? I didn't have any questions. Uh-huh. Story is what won me over. Yeah. Well, Mr. Jason Black, Mr. Telepathic Jason Black, the questions that people have are because of the flashbacks that don't seem to have anything to do with the story. And but of all the when you read the interviews at the back, there's so much more going on, you know. And it has like characters that pop up and kind of have what are the significance of these characters? Why are they here? What is the powers that these people are wielding? What does it have to do with the Lucent? What the heck is the Lucent? There's a lot of questions yet that are there. Um, it's like I said, it's like a puzzle box. I loved it. I loved it. Uh really, really had a good time with it. But when you see people coming in hot, like Mr. Gabe LT Taib. I'm sorry, I keep brutalizing his name. But somebody who has he's already been here, he's already putting out books. He worked in the mainstream, has so much cachet. He comes to the door, you know, flipping the bird at DC. So he comes to the door kind of really hot. And then this is a guy that's already got 3,000 subscribers on his channel. I've subscribed, just wanted to support the guy. And he's got a great story. It's real compelling. He talks about his family and how important the USA is to him, or how America is to his family. Really great story. I really like the guy. I really do. But didn't just have him like denigrate and put down your whole entire artistic branch. Say we don't need you, you're irrelevant. And one thing I've tried to do with this channel is I'm trying to give writers a voice. I'm trying to push back a little bit against the narrative that writing's irrelevant, that is somehow outmoded, that is somehow like I don't know, obsolete. And they put us in the same category as Vita Ayala and Mark Wade and Gail Simone and Kelly Sue DeConnick. I'm not in those people's category. Those aren't writers. They're not writers. Unless you can count political pamphlets. But anybody that can look people in the eye and say, if you don't like my politics, then don't buy my book. Anybody that can say that with a straight face and actually mean it, that's not a writer. I have never known a true writer to ever say, I hope nobody sees my work. I've never seen that. Or I don't want these people to see my work as opposed to these people. That's not a writer. I don't know what that is. But we keep getting like lumped in with those people here in CG. Like this is a writer free zone. We're free from writers here. And you know what? There are books I've got in that stack right there I'll probably never read again. And that's sad. It's sad. I mean, people love a graveyard shift and they love the art. I mean, the greatest artists in CG were on that book. Just about every one of them is a who's who of CG, except for Narwhal. Narwhal is Narwhal. But the thing about it is they had characters appear and get murdered and disappear or pop into this universe, pop out of that universe, and it had characters from 2 books into the 3rd book. Pretty good points. Good on you sticking up for Ryan. All right, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Aaron's my bud. But think about it. Think about it. Writers are an essential part of the ecosystem. They are. I mean, all these worlds that these artists are playing in, they have to be conceived of. The rules have to be conceived of and have to be written. The characters, they have to have bios before you know who these people are, before you care who these people were. They have to be written. Yes, there's character design that goes into it, and that's an artist's purview. I work with a character designer. I'm behind on my payments to him, but he's brilliant. Arcsider, look him up. He's incredible. Archsider. Give that man work. He's brilliant. But at the end of the day, I was the one that came up with those characters that he created or drew the particulars of. Because writers, yes, the artists draw the world, draw the characters interacting with that world, but that has to be conceived of. And I mean, Gabe, for all his, I admire the guy. I like the guy a lot. That's why it hurts so bad for him to say this shit. But he basically said he just comes up on the page. The artist pretty much is the whole entire thing. It shows up on the page, and I was like, no, sir. No. That's not how it works. And then the jokers in the tweet thread trying to tell me you can put a couple sentences together, you're a writer. No, you put a couple sentences together, you can write. You're not a writer. Unless those two sentences you put together are part of a bigger whole that makes sense and that has impact. No, sir, you are not a writer. I remember when I used to write the first things that I wrote, and they were just, I didn't know how to do the connective tissue. I didn't know how to go from point to point to point. Hold on. There are some characters, plot points aren't fully solved, but it's an introduction. I wasn't confused. Okay, Jason. There you go. Good for you, man. Talking about the Lucent. I'm sorry I missed it. But anyway, even if the artist is the writer of the book, they're still a writer. At that moment, they're not an artist. They're operating as the writer. And you're in my purview, okay? And if you don't know what you're doing, it would be like me trying to draw Cyberfrog. Okay? I can't draw Cyberfrog. If I drew Cyberfrog, people would have problems with my art on the Cyberfrog. I mean, I've got pretty decent as an artist. Not good enough for comic books, but I could draw a still life pretty good. I got pretty decent at that, but I'm not going to try to draw Cyberfrog. Why? Because I don't have the prerequisite skill set. I don't have the time in. I don't have the practice. So, why the hell are you, who can draw these things, trying to tell me what writing is or is not? You know how many hours, years, reams of stories? I could show you my document file. My document file is the largest file on my computer. I've got things in there. I just had an idea. I wrote it down. Maybe I'll do something with it later. I've got worlds sitting on my document file. Because that's what writers do. We create worlds, universes, things that don't exist. We create it from whole cloth, from pure ether. And yes, occasionally, because when we want to do a comic book, we have some artists take what's in here, what we write down, and put a visual representation on it. And that's the art form. Writer, artist. That's the art form. Together, equal partners. Okay? Not going to say what takes up the most space on my computer. Well, sounds like you have a personal problem there, Jason. The best comics come from either the same person as writer and artist, one vision, or as a great writer and a great artist on the same book trying to impress each other. Absolutely. Absolutely. Uh, I got a great artist team, husband and wife duo, Barbusco Studios. And I've shown dailies to a friend of mine who's really big on. He's a big Silvestri disciple, so nothing I'm going to show him is going to impress him very much. But he was like, well, these people need a book how to draw the Marvel way, and it's not dynamic enough or whatever. But I look at it and it's my idea. It's my vision. It's on the page. The people I care about, the people I conceived of, are there on the page. And maybe it's not going to blow people's hair back on the art department, but it's my vision, and they're executing my vision to the extent that I desire it to be executed, okay? Because I want the story to be the thing. I mean, I know somebody right now, a writer in CG. He has an incredible artist. Everything the guy puts out is jaw dropping. His book is almost 3 years late now. Meanwhile, this guy is jumping on other people's projects and doing covers for other people because he's jaw dropping artist. But this guy's comics just languishing. And he's like, every once in a while, I drew more on it. And it's when it comes out, it's gonna be a complete total work of art. It's gonna be jaw dropping. It's gonna be incredible when it comes out. You know, if the art is the thing, is the only thing important about comics. If the artist is the only person important in comics, then you're gonna get Marvel and DC. And Image and BAM and whatever the IDW. It's not gonna be any better than the mainstream because mainstream has completely, totally devalued their writers to the extent that they think they can pull somebody off a Time magazine and give them a writing gig on a top tier book because they have the prerequisite political whatever. And then you get that book. And the book is lifeless piece of shit. A preachy little piece of shit. It's a political pamphlet. And nobody cares. That's what happens when you devalue writing. When you say anybody can write. Anybody can write comics. You don't have to have any love for the source material. You don't have to have any game for panel construction. You don't have to have any game for dialogue. All the thing that matters is your political persuasion and your skin color and who you want to screw. Because writing, anybody can write. So we'll just pull anybody from these other disciplines. Oh, you're a novel writer. Okay. Oh, you write for Stephen Colbert. Boom. You come in here and you wrote a book about gay Santa Claus and his partner. And the gay Santa Claus is black. Yeah. That's how we got Snowflake and Safe Space. That's where the guy came from. Writing Stephen Colbert skits and gay Santa. That's where we got it from. Oh, okay. Hold on. I do feel a lot of sympathy for the writer head of that campaign. How many times can he tell irate backers? I tried making him do art. Yeah, you know the one I'm talking about. Yeah. Meanwhile, John Malin's getting a book out with that guy's art on it. So what do you do at that point, right? Anyway. thing about it is, seeing someone come in from the mainstream with that much cachet out the door, and he's already talking about, oh, I'm going to put out my own comic book. You know what? It'll be a 100,000 campaign. I mean, does it have to be good? No. He's friends with the right people. It'll probably be a 100,000 campaign. Whether it's good or not, I don't know. He says he has a writing partner. Really? You have a writing partner? But I thought writing didn't matter. You see this all the time. The same people that denigrate writing are the same people that turn right around. Oh, my favorite comic book was this because of this. And it's usually the writing. Image Comics. I remember Image Comics. When Image Comics first hit, I remember all the people buying up all the variant covers and just geeking out over Wildcats, geeking out over Youngblood, geeking out over Cyberforce, geeking out, Oh wow, look at that! Look at the cover. Look at the scantily clad females. Witchblade. I mean, I was in the same house as a big Witchblade fan, and why? Because the chick had like tastefully appointed metal as her costume. That was it. That was her costume. And everybody was just geeking out over it. And then second book, through 3 months later, maybe 4 months, maybe 5. Third book, yeah, Witchblade started pretty good. Yeah, it did. It did. Sarah Pazzini, yeah. Started pretty good. But then, basic template for 8-issue arc works. Yeah. Well, the thing about it is, though, is the reason why you need writers is because writers can get you beyond that 8-issue arc. We can get you further than that. We can. Why? Because we're writers. We create stuff from whole cloth. We think in plot. We think in character development. We think in seeding things years and months ahead. Chris Claremont could create a character in 1982 that didn't pay off till 1989. Because he's a writer. It's an advanced there is a skill to it. There is a skill set. There is a discipline involved. There is practice involved. There's years and years and years. Most of us have wrote a novel, okay? I mean, most writers write novels, okay? It's a way to burn off all the creative energy. You write novels. Well, thing about it is, though, if you write a novel, the pacing's got to be there. The characterization's got to be there. There's got to be some semblance of a plot. And it's got to be a payoff. Sometimes the payoff is 300, 400, 500, 600, sometimes 1,000 pages in before you get to the payoff. And you got to know what's going on. You got to know not only what the person that you're writing is doing, but you got to know what's going on with these other characters at the same time. You got to know where they're going to pop back in. You got to know when they disappeared. Where did they go? You got to know. It's a skill set. And when it's done right, when you take that kind of skill set and you give it an artist who can draw it, you get magic. One of my favorite comic books of all time, Batman Year One, Frank Miller. Brian Azzarello, no, Mazzucchelli. I love that comic. I love it. And some people like have accused it over the years of that's basic comic book. The art is just basic and the color palette is muted, but it fit the story so well. That story fit the art, and it was a it was it was a marrying of artist and writer, and it's beautiful. People changed their headcanon about Batman and about James Gordon because of that book. Changed everything. The Killing Joke, that was that was Alan Moore and a good artist, the artist that met his vision, and they did something beautiful on that. It's disturbing, but it's beautiful. It rewrote the whole entire Joker origin. People started thinking about Joker as the failed comedian whose uh, pregnant wife was keeping him afloat. Passed away when a hot plate burned their apartment, and she died. And he went crazy. That's how the Joker was created. But that was an Alan Moore story. But you look at the art. The art's incredible, but it fits the story. When you get the right artist with the right writer, the writer has game. The writer who can write dialogue, write people with internal logic, that knows what this person will do and what they won't do, and then puts them in the same environment with person that has this limitation or lack thereof. And what they're going to do. What are they going to do? Alan Moore's Killing Joke. The Gordon was like stripped down, showed pictures of his daughter, shot through the abdomen, naked, and trying to drive him crazy. But at the end of the day, he tells Batman, bring him in alive. Demands him bringing him in alive. We have to show him our way works. Because he didn't break him. That's writing. That's writing. Somebody had understood Gordon's limitations and things that he wouldn't do, what he would and wouldn't do. Internal logic. Understood that. That's writing. So I do love people. I do love people and our artists in CG. I love them. I love these guys. They're brilliant. Watch these draw streams. I mean, Fragtober. Some of the art that was created is just incredible. And they created it right in front of you. To have that skill set, that's just amazing. It's amazing. It's jaw-dropping. It's staggering. But there is a difference between drawing a static image that someone's already pre-created, which is what they were doing. They were drawing characters that were already created. They weren't creating characters to draw. I'm not building up writers beyond artists, but I'm just saying don't build artists up beyond writing. The writers. Because if you do that, then you're going to hurt your book. You're going to hurt the possibilities of what your book could be, what your world could be, what your characters could be. Because it's a specific skill set that not everybody has. They don't. Go over to fan fiction sometime and look at it. Look at it. That's what happens when anybody that has a word processor puts their stuff online. And tell me how much of that is good. There used to be pretty decent some. I mean, there used to be you could find one or two things that were decent. But I got out of it before all the woke tards hit full bore. But I was starting to see all slash fiction where all the straight men were having sex with one another. Why that's a thing, I have no idea. But it's evidently a young girl thing. They just have an obsession with straight men having sex with one another, even if they're brothers. Read some of that supernatural fan fiction if you can stand it. Okay. But anyway, not everybody can write. Putting sentences together does not make you a writer. It makes you someone who can write, but it doesn't make you a writer. It just makes me sad. It makes me sad that people with this big of a platform in our community just spout things like that. It just makes me sad because it's just ignorance. It's ignorance of the art form. And sure, he just came out of a hellhole where anybody that, any podunk holler guy off the street that writes an article anti-Trump was given Aquaman. I mean, they put Kelly Sue DeConnick on Aquaman. Canceled after the movie came out. She couldn't even keep it afloat. It's Aquaman, and you can't keep Aquaman afloat. How crappy of a writer are you? Okay. It just makes me sad because they're making the same mistake the mainstream has made. I'm sorry. I'm not going to try to draw my own comic because I know my limitations. I see what you did there. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your appreciation. Um, but not everybody can write. Not everybody can write. And it includes artists. There are some artists that can write. Cyber Frog is a decently written book. Ethan Van Sciver's got game. He's got game. Graham Nolan. Chinoo was a good book. I mean, it was basic. The basic had a basic plot, but the dialogue was fine. I didn't have any trouble. I didn't get out of the book. He has game too. Shane Davis has got major game. Shane Davis can ride his little narrow white fanny off. Okay. Shane Davis is got major game. Okay. And these are guys in CG. Now I don't know the others, ones that haven't had books out yet. I know that Dan Frega uses a writer. I know Art T. Bear, who is a decent writer, went and got Albano Thunderbuns to help him co-write the latest Black and White. And I expect an uptick in the quality of the writing. But that was somebody that says, you know what? I have limitations here. Hold on. Jason Black. I suspect that if I applied myself and really worked at it, I could put a story together. But it's a job better left to people with real passion and talent for it. Thank you. Agreed. Anyway, all I'm doing is just going over and over again with pretty much getting the same point. I don't know if anybody sees this. I don't know if it'll get e-fabbed at some point. But I'm just going to say this. We're at a turning point here. We're at a crossroads. What do we want to be? We're dangerously close to making the same mistakes Image Comics did. And we're dangerously close to making the same mistake the mainstream is right now. The ones we're complaining about. The ones that we... When's the book coming out? What book? Just arrived and I know nothing. I'm kind of wrapping it up, guys. Sorry. I didn't really advertise this one well today. Now just a rant on listening to some of the biggest leading lights in CG say that writing was irrelevant on a stream last night. The stream was actually recorded days ago. I just listened to it last night. And I talking about Twitter this morning, Anyway. We're dangerously close right now to making the same mistakes that they made. Writing is irrelevant. Yeah. Okay. All right. Looks like that's a good place to stop. Anyway, so thank you for coming in. Thank you for listening to me rant a little bit. I appreciate it. Got some things out of my system. And I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. Anyway, for those who came in at last second, sorry guys. I tried to keep this as an hour. I tried to start at 3:00 every day, and I pretty much end at 4. So, if you want to come back tomorrow and hop on the chat and have a conversation with me, go right ahead. That's what the pinned link is for. But anyway, that's good enough for today. Thank you for the rant. And if anybody has any disagreements with me on it, feel free to DM. I'll discuss it with you. And if you're trolling me, I probably won't respond. I talk to humans. I don't talk to trolls. But anyway, you gentlemen have a very good day. I will see you on the next time. Same bunny time, same bunny channel. Y'all have a nice day.